Right.
We're here in the house, so
There we
thank you
go.
for being here.
Glad to be here. Hey, everybody.
You got a good crowd here.
Hey. All
Awesome.
standing. If you want to come sit down, we got seats for you. Go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to YWCA York, where we stand bold in our mission of eliminating racism and empowering women. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Governor Shapiro, for choosing to visit with.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to say choosing to visit with one of York County's child care facilities, but I think we're the largest.
Yeah.
And I always say that. So
There you go.
thank you for visiting us. We are delighted to have you here. I hope you enjoyed your tour.
I did. I hung out with the sharks. They are cute. Holy cow.
Thank you. There's a whole bunch of other people who joined us as well. We have some elected officials with us. State Representative Carol Hill Evans is here. Thank you, ma'am, for being here. Along with State Rep Patty Kim, all the way from Dauphin County. York County Commissioner Doug Hope, thank you so much for being here with us, sir. York City Mayor Michael Helfrich is with us as well. I don't know if we have any council members. Other council members, City Council President and Queen of Washington, who happens to be my chief impact officer.
Got it. All right.
If I missed anyone, I'm sorry. Welcome all. We appreciate all the work you do in your respective roles for and on behalf of us, particularly. Thank you to the YWCA York's Board of Directors, led by President Michelle Pokrifa. They are here with us. You ladies, please stand. This is our governing leadership body. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for being here. We have some other special guests you'll hear from a little later, and friends who have joined us. Kevin Schreiber, of course, President and CEO of York County Economic Alliance. On behalf of WellSpan Health, we have a Chief of Staff, Cindy, I believe. Where are you, Cindy? Is with us. There she is. Thank you. And again, a host of other friends. Finally, all of the women and men that keep this place humming, who are standing along the rear or in the classroom with kiddos, we gotta stay in ratio, or perhaps counseling and consoling victims. Thank you, one and all of our associates. Please raise YWCA York, raise a hand. I appreciate each and every one of you all. Thank you so much for being here with us. At YWCA York, 245 children are provided with access to safe and quality child care programs designed to encourage each child's individual, emotional, social, intellectual, creative, cultural, and physical development in a safe, nurturing environment that actively promotes acceptance. Through YWCA York, our community has access to victim services, racial and gender equity programs, youth, camp, aquatics, yoga, and mindfulness programs as well. We do it all right here in York for York. And sir, we are positive your enhancement to the Child Independent Care Tax Credit will be extremely beneficial to our 200+ families that trust us with their most prized possessions on a daily basis. So again, thank you, my friend, Governor Shapiro, for stopping by YWCA York and spending your afternoon with us. It is my distinct pleasure now to introduce to some and present to others my BFF, Kevin Joseph Schreiber, President and CEO. I knew that, okay? President and CEO of YCEA. Kev?
Thank you so much, Cecilia Kim Bracey. I don't know if I like...
You did that.
I did.
I would not have done that.
And she's standing behind me. It's also her birthday week, so we'll just say a happy birthday. I won't say what. God, watch my back.
Yeah, you're on your own.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, sorry.
Governor Shapiro, thank you so much for visiting York today to highlight this important and impactful accomplishment of your administration. Thank you, of course, to our phenomenal host, the ever incredibly talented BFF of mine, Kim Bracey, and to the entire family of the YWCA York. Governor, your support of childcare throughout Pennsylvania and here in York County has a direct and positive effect on our economy. Further, not extending but also expanding the child care and dependent care tax credit is an economic competitive advantage of our Commonwealth. This program benefits all of our neighbors. It benefits our coworkers, our family members, working families across the Commonwealth and across York County. And we've got decades of data that shows the positive impact early education has on the development of young minds and the kiddos across our state. The earlier they're exposed to curriculum, the greater likelihood for success later in life. So therefore, expanding access to affordable quality childcare is important for our Commonwealth's economic future. It's important for our working families. Without access to childcare, individuals can't get to work. This is good for business, it's good for employers across our Commonwealth. Here are some alarming statistics that I would ask everyone to bear with you as you leave this room today. In a recent study conducted by the Pennsylvania Chamber of Commerce and the Pennsylvania United Way, childcare was the primary reason for absenteeism in the workplace. Our state suffers about a $4 billion a year loss in economic output as a result of this annually. In March of 2020, here in York County, pre-pandemic, we had about 221 early childhood education centers. In May of last year, that was down to 170. Those that survived the pandemic are operating at an average of 85% capacity due to teacher shortages, forcing some of our centers to have rolling blackouts. So imagine getting up, getting ready for work, and getting a call that your child care center can't open today, can't take care of your little one, and you need to then figure out what that means to you and your job. And too frequently, we know that the burdens of households are falling disproportionately on women, and as of 2022, we had the fewest women in the workplace since the 1980s. So Governor, you have laid down the challenge here in Pennsylvania to expand affordable access to child care. You have been so bold as to directly link child care to our state's economic competitiveness, and with the passage of the child care dependent care tax credit, you've taken a big step forward for Pennsylvania. And here in York County, we're doing our part to make great strides, joined by a host of partners today and led by major employers like WellSpan Health, our philanthropic partners such as Powder Mill, the Wareheim Foundation, our Community Foundation, and our United Way of York County. We're proud to report to you, Governor, that we have raised annually a commitment of $3 million, or about $15 million over these next 5 years, to launch a new child care initiative in York County called ECHO, standing for Every Child Has Opportunity.
That's great. That's really great.
And backboned by our Early Learning Resource Center, and Christy Rigilian is over here, the Executive Director of Community Connections for Children, and the team at the YCEA, ECHO will create new programs and enhance existing ones with proven success, all with the express goal of expanding access to quality childcare for at-risk youth and expanding capacity and quality early childhood education centers. So as an example, new dollars this year will flow to support cohorts of new educators, to provide educator retention grants, and support new at-home care centers or capacity building at existing centers. Many founding members of ECHO are here with us today, including the new ECHO director, Katie Caples. So, Governor, we're doing our best efforts here in York County to meet the needs of families, our employers, our workforce, and all of the kiddos that you got to meet today who are our next generation of leaders. But your impact statewide through the historic expansion of the Child Care Dependent Care Tax Credit quite literally moves the economic needle in this Commonwealth and I dare say in our nation. So Governor, thank you, and thank you to the supporting members of the House and Senate who reached this significant bipartisan legislation. Bipartisanship can happen in Pennsylvania. And honestly, it is incumbent on us to celebrate when it does happen. And that matters to Pennsylvanians just as much as this issue matters to Pennsylvanians, because every aspect of our country and our Commonwealth's economy depends on access to childcare. We know you're a competitive guy, Gov.
I am.
And we recognize we won't solve these childcare crises issues overnight. It will take all hands, and Pennsylvania has taken a big step forward due to your leadership. So we hope that ECHO's impact will resound throughout the county and we can develop some proofs of concept and novel new programs, elevating existing successful work of others or eliminating barriers to access for working families. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is economic development defined by our governor. This is among the greatest moral obligation that we have to the youngest among us and their families, who merely want to give their kid the best shot at life and the best shot in Pennsylvania. So thank you again, Governor Shapiro. And it gives me pride and pleasure to introduce this gentleman over here, Quinn Howard, who is a parent. Quinn's little dude legend is downstairs. He's 4 years old. He's a chicken nugget guy. Favorite dessert is cookies. And he's got better hair that's curlier and probably a little bit more vibrant than mine. So, ladies and gentlemen, Quinn Howard.
Thank you. Great job.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Legend definitely has better hair. But I'll stick to it. Thank you, Governor Shapiro, for this tremendous opportunity to share how beneficial the increased child-independent care tax credit will be for my family due to having a child actively participating in the quality child care programs such as the YWCA York, especially at a time where most essential needs for families are on a consistent rise, from food to toiletries to clothing, extracurricular activities, and more. Having access to additional finances to provide for my family will assist greatly in offsetting the cost of living. Thank you again, Governor Shapiro, for addressing this and placing money into the pockets of Pennsylvanians such as myself, and to ensure that we have resources available to care for our families. And so now, it is my pleasure to bring up and introduce State Representative Carol Hill Evans.
Thank you and good afternoon, everyone. When I look back at the victories we achieved during this legislative season, the expansion of the Child and Dependent Care Tax Credit stands to have one of the most positive impacts on Pennsylvania families. I'm so proud and humbled to be part of this achievement. Thank you, Governor Shapiro, for your support. From the moment the phone lines opened in my district office almost 8 years ago, 8 years, I heard from York parents desperate for help and support, any type of support when it comes to obtaining child care. With the country being behind on implementing child care and paid family leave policies that support working parents, it became imperative that we do something as state legislators and lawmakers to address this issue, an issue that not only stifles family finances, but it also stifles our workforce. Child care is necessary for parents, as we know, particularly mothers, to be able to work and earn an income, yet it has ballooned into an increasingly crushing expense for families with young children. Over the past 20 years, the cost of child care has more than doubled, while wages, such as Pennsylvania's minimum wage of just $7.25 an hour, have remained stagnant. Many parents find that child care expenses consume most of their paycheck, and some, again typically mothers, are left with no other choice than to leave the workforce as a result. A recent study found that the rising cost of child care resulted in an estimated 13% decline in the employment of mothers with children under the age of 5. Fact is that American families need 2 incomes to meet the costs of living, making access to child care a necessity for their stability. Half of American families face difficulty just off affording diapers for their children, which is another issue that I've worked very hard on since taking office. It's a healthcare issue, too, for parents whose employers don't provide any paid sick leave, making it difficult to care for themselves in addition to their own young children. Mothers, especially single moms, bear the brunt of this unmet need because women still work low-wage jobs at a disproportionate rate with non-standard work hours and inconsistent schedules. In districts like mine, the 95th Legislative District, Black and Latina mothers work these types of jobs at even higher rates, while being even more likely to be the primary breadwinner in their households. 71% of Black mothers and 41% of Latina mothers serve as the primary economic support for their families. Many of these mothers struggle to find affordable child care that aligns with their work schedules and is available during evenings and even weekends. The ray of hope, help, and support in all of this is the Child and Dependent Care Enhancement Tax Credit Program. By putting money back in the pockets, we are protecting more Pennsylvania families from having to solve the nearly impossible equation of working for a living without child care draining their paychecks. Thank you, Governor, once again, for allowing me to speak and share such good news with families here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and I'm particularly in the 95th Legislative District, and now it is my distinct honor to present, and represent Governor Shapiro. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Rep. Thank you. Thanks, Rep. You know, I spent a lot of time crisscrossing this Commonwealth because, you know, we're getting a lot of stuff done, and so we got to go out and talk about it. And it seems like everywhere I go, Representative Carol Hill Evans is standing right there with me because she has had a hand in so many of the accomplishments, so many of the points we've put on the board. Rep, thank you for your leadership. We're grateful to you. And I want to thank you for your work every day to advocate on behalf of families, not just here in York County, but all across Pennsylvania. I also want to thank your colleagues in the General Assembly who helped make sure this got done, including one of your neighboring colleagues who is here, who's my state representative at the governor's residence, and that is State Representative Patty Kim. Thank you. I'm glad that Representative Kim is here because it was about a year and a half ago. Representative Kim and I were standing in one of her constituents' driveways over in Enola talking about the importance of cutting costs for families here in Pennsylvania. She knows what folks are going through, and she's a strong leader and advocate in Harrisburg to make sure we cut costs for families and we deliver for them. Representative Kim, appreciate your leadership. Thank you very, very much. I know that that work we are all engaged in is critically important here in York County and across Pennsylvania. And one of the reasons I enjoy coming here to York County, I was joking with Kevin Schreiber earlier, I'm trying to get here as much as my predecessor, Governor Wolf, was here. But one of the reasons why I enjoy coming here so much is because York County really has its act together. Think about it for a minute. You've got leadership at the state and local level, county and mayor, working together. You've got the local chamber working together with government officials. Important community institutions like the YWCA working together. You've got labor and business working in sync. In short, York County gets the importance of partnerships to get big things done. And under Kevin's leadership, we have seen the York County Economic Alliance and their partners, he just talked about the ECHO initiative, recognize the importance of those partnerships in delivering for our families. And that's why, as you heard him say before, they're putting their own skin in the game, working to recruit and retain child care workers and preschool teachers. And so I'm grateful for those partnerships. I'm grateful for the leadership of those at every level, including Mayor Helfrich. I think I saw you on the local news, what was it, Christmas Eve or something? You were standing up on a seemingly cold, wet night, lighting something. You looked like you were having a great time out there, Mayor, together with your county commissioners. I know y'all have heard from many folks in the city and the country who need help, city and the county, who need help and access to safe, affordable child care before they go off for work. And we appreciate the collective work you've done to deliver on that. Many of you, yeah, you should clap for them. I want to thank them, and I want to, again, make mention of the importance of that collaboration at the state and local level, also at the federal level. We have leaders from Senator Casey's office who are here. He's long been a champion of child care at the federal level and has helped us deliver many times for our families. You know, in our administration, you've heard me talk about this, we live by 3 letters, GSD, and since this is a family environment, I'll just say that stands for Get Stuff Done, and we focus on that every single day, getting stuff done for the good people of Pennsylvania. And this expanded child care tax credit is a prime example of government working together to deliver real, tangible results for the people of Pennsylvania. I've stated this before. I think it bears repeating. I am the only governor in the nation with a divided legislature, meaning one chamber is led by Democrats and the other led by Republicans. So for us to get anything done, we've got to figure out ways to bring Republicans and Democrats together. That was true when we delivered the largest increase in funding for our public schools in the history of Pennsylvania. It was true when we invested heavily in public safety and delivered the largest number of new cadets for our state police. It was true when we leaned in on economic development and as a result have been able to secure, just the first 10 months of my administration, over $1 billion of direct private capital investment. In short, we have had to come together to deliver for the good people of Pennsylvania. And this example that we're here to talk about today, the child care tax credit, is a great example of that coming together, that bipartisanship can work and it can work for the good people of Pennsylvania. It helps us to come together, to allow us to cut costs, put money back in people's pockets, and help families get by. You know, I travel the Commonwealth every single week, and I've heard firsthand from Pennsylvanians who are really struggling just to get by amidst rising costs. They've told me how it seems like, and I see this too when I go to the store, the price of everything just feels like it's always rising, from groceries to, of course, childcare. And they need a little bit of help just to be able to get by. On the campaign trail, in places like Enola and elsewhere, I made a commitment to help families cut costs and put more money back in their pockets. And in my first year as governor, I'm proud that we are coming together, Democrat and Republican alike, to deliver on that promise across the board. Think about it for a moment. We're delivering not just for families, but for older Pennsylvanians too. We came together, Democrats and Republicans alike, to deliver the largest targeted tax cut for seniors in 2 decades here in Pennsylvania. And at the same time we're delivering for seniors, we're delivering for families too through this child care tax credit. We know, of course, that child care is incredibly expensive. As Kevin and Quinn know well, here in York County, parents often spend more than $10,000 a year on child care alone. For many, that's over 13% of their annual income, and that's just the cost for one child in child care. Now, let me tell you something. I get that as your governor. I also get it as a father of not one child, but 4 children. Now, my kids are a little older than the sharks that I was hanging out with earlier. That's the term the YWCA gave them, not me. I just want to be clear. But, you know, it is expensive. And I must compliment Kim Bracey and the folks here at the YWCA of York who are doing all they can to keep good quality child care accessible and affordable for families in this area. But even with efforts like Kim's here at the YWCA, there are working families all across Pennsylvania who need help to make child care more accessible. This tax credit delivers for those families in Pennsylvania, and it puts real money back in their pockets. And they don't have to wait years and years to get it. Starting right now, this year, they're going to get that money back in their pocket. Because starting this year in Pennsylvania, we will now match 100% of the federal child care tax credit that Pennsylvanians get on their tax returns. Put that in some perspective, last year in 2023, Pennsylvania only matched 30% of the overall federal tax credit. Let me put that in some real concrete perspective for you. If you were a family in 2023 with 2 kids in child care, the most you could get back in Pennsylvania of relief was $630. So last year was $630. This year, as a result of this new bipartisan law, you're going to go from $630 to $2,100 back in your pocket. That's real money. That's real money that is going to help 210,000 Pennsylvania families, including 7,000 commissioners right here in York County. You've heard from some of the speakers earlier, including Representative Hill Evans, this is the right thing to do. And it is. She's right. It is the right thing to do. It's also the smart thing to do. Let me explain what I mean by that. When we make it easier for Pennsylvanians to find care for their children and loved ones, all of us benefit, even if we don't have children in the child care system. Let me explain. You heard Kevin allude to this earlier. In Pennsylvania, our economy loses over $3 billion every single year in lost earnings, productivity, and tax revenue because families can't access reliable, consistent, affordable childcare. So when families can't access that and can't get into work, businesses lose out on great employees, and all Pennsylvanians lose out because of a loss of their productivity and their tax revenue. So investing in childcare is good for families. It's the right thing to do, but it's the smart thing to do for our economy. And we owe it to Pennsylvanians to make these kinds of investments that cut costs and put money back in their pockets. So for every family who just needs a little bit of extra help, I would argue a lot of extra help is what we're delivering, this is what you need to know in order to access this meaningful relief. Nearly every single Pennsylvanian who is caring for a child or a loved one right now that they claim as a dependent qualifies for this. So you don't have to worry if this is going to help you or not. Nearly every Pennsylvanian is going to qualify. And the process to get that relief is pretty easy and simple. You just need to make sure that when you claim your child and dependent tax credit on your federal form, you do it on your state tax form as well. Just do it twice, and then you get that relief. And if you want to learn more, we created a super simple website to walk you through it. Go over to pa.gov/childcare-tax-credit, and that'll walk you through it. Again, claim it on your federal return and your state return, and you get that relief. And again, for a family with 2 kids in childcare, last year we were getting $630. Now you're in a position to get $2,100. This makes a real difference for Pennsylvania families, puts real money back in people's pockets, and it's one more example of how even in these divisive, divided, polarized political times, here in Pennsylvania, we are proving that we can come together to get big things done, to cut costs for families, and to put real money back in people's pockets and solve pressing problems that have existed for many, many years. We are really proud of that, and I'm here to tell you this is what good government looks like. Thank you, York, for welcoming back. Thank you, Kim, for having us here at the YWCA. I don't want to keep these sharks waiting much longer. We're going to invite them out, but I also want to make sure we take some time to answer some questions from the media. So I'll pause there and ask any of the folks in the media if you have any questions for us. Thank you all very, very much. Thank you.
Talk a little bit about that, the security and privacy issues that might come with that, and how your state employees will be using it.
Look, I have remarked many times that there should be no wrong door to access the help and support and services of state government. That means when you show up at a state government office, you get help. When you call, you get help. And when you go online, you get help. And we think that there are things we can do to make that online experience for Pennsylvanians way more effective, way more efficient. That's how most people want to access help, whether they're buying something online or they're trying to get a service for their child or for themselves. And we think AI is an important tool that can help us develop more effective constituent services in Pennsylvania. I want to be clear, this is a tool for our vast workforce of over 80,000 people in Pennsylvania. It is not to displace anyone in our workforce. And so we're committed to Pennsylvania state workers and giving them the tools they need to deliver more effective assistance for our constituents. Today we made an announcement on this important work that will play out over the course of next year. And we'll look forward to giving real-time updates to the people of Pennsylvania and seeing our constituent services improve for them, whether they're going to visit a state park or whether they're trying to get a service for their child or anything in between.
Just when they started using it, and on the flip side, how can this be expanded to other government?
We're beginning to deploy these AI tools, obviously with safety, security, and privacy in mind. We're going to see how it goes to determine how to expand it to other uses in state government. Any other questions from the media? Okay. Thank you all very much. I'm going to bring these kiddos out here.